All WWE superstars are highly trained professional athletes. Do not imitate or copy their performances or actions. Any copyrighted material featured in this non-monetized review has been selected as a small portion in relation to the original work. This copyrighted material has been selected for comment purposes and is allowed under fair use.
In July 1990, Brutus the Barber Beefcake was involved in a very serious parasailing accident. Over 100 foot of wire, 32 screws, and multiple metal plates were needed for facial reconstruction. He had lost the ability to use his navel cavity, his jaw, and he couldn't breathe on his own. Also during this time, his parents passed away and he also got divorced. Brutus did make sporadic appearances in the WWF from 1991, hosting barbershop segments, including the iconic segment when the Rockers split up. But it wasn't until Raw February 15th, 1993, that Brutus the Barber Beefcake would finally make his in-ring return. This show opens with promos from Brutus and the $1 Million Man, who would meet in the main event tonight. For the 5th week in a row, we're coming from the Manhattan Center in New York, and our commentary team is once again Macho Man Randy Savage, Vince McMahon, and Rob Bartlett. Technical issues plague commentary tonight, although they do feel like they are just a work.
The problem is, Randy, you gotta be a little smarter than the electrical.
Macho Man Randy Savage is going nuts here, ladies and gentlemen. On Monday Night Raw, I would not want to be the producer of this show.
Bartlett ends up losing his headset, maybe because of this comment.
Forget about it.
Does that hurt?
Work, huh?
Does that hurt?
Does it hurt?
And as a result is silent for much of the show. Let's go over to matches. Our first match sees the Steiner brothers taking on Glenn Ruth and Bobby Who. This is a great squash match that was given plenty of time so that the Steiner brothers could really show off their arsenal of moves. This is a vocal crowd. The Steiners win. It's a very enjoyable 2 Vinces. The WWF guys are back in the crowd as well. I've got a feeling that we're going to see plenty of these guys. Next up, we get a Wrestlemania XI report. Mean Gene announces that Wrestlemania is going to come from Caesar's Palace in Las Vegas. Also, we see this advert for a Chinese luncheon for only $3.95. That's a bargain. Announced matches for WrestleMania include Bret Hart versus Yokozuna for the WWF Championship, Undertaker versus the Giant Gonzalez, and Crush versus Doink. Yokozuna was up next, facing Ross Greenberg. This is a short squash. USA chants from the crowd, but not much more than that. 1 Vince. Next, we get a battle royal with competitors starting outside the ring. It's never announced what the winner will receive, nor is it announced who's actually taking part. But we can see Kimchee, Bezerker, Kamala, Bob Backlund, Owen Hart, Tito Santana, Koko Ware, Iron Mike Sharpe, Skinner, Typhoon, Tatanka, Damian Demento, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, and terrific Terry Taylor. Skinner is dancing and is quickly eliminated. Kimchee eliminates Kamala, so Kamala eliminates Kimchee and chases him into the crowd. We get to see the concession area, and Kamala even chases his former handler across the balcony. A few eliminations later, and we get down to Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Tito Santana, and Tatanka. Michaels is eliminated, and then the Giant Gonzalez makes his way down. He takes out Tito Santana and Tatanka, and Razor Ramon, who stayed out of the way, wins the Battle Royal. This was largely uneventful, so I'm going to give it 1.5 Vinces. Main event time, $1 Million Man versus a returning Brutus the Barber Beefcake. As they go to lock up, Brutus struts to the side, and he does it twice. The crowd really into it. Brutus gets some early offense in as Jimmy Hart tells the $1 Million Man to be careful. Eventually, I.R.S. comes down and hits Brutus with his briefcase from behind. The match ends in a DQ. This was quite a compelling back and forth match, so I'm going to give it 2 Vinces, but we're far from finished. I.R.S. grabs his case, DiBiase grabs Beefcake, and Jimmy Hart pleads for his team to see sense. The tension builds as Jimmy Hart is pushed aside, and then we get our move of the show.
Do your job, referee! Do your job! Oh, no!
Yeah!
This is one of the most shocking moments in 1993. Jimmy Hart races to check on Beefcake and pleads for the medics to help. $1 Million Man says, "Welcome back, Beefcake," as Beefcake is stretchered away and a blood stain is shown on the ring mat. Elsewhere, we get a WWF special report from Lord Alfred Hayes. They promote a new poster book as well as show us highlights from the Yokozuna Hacksaw Jim Duggan match from WWF Superstars. It started with a flag wave-off between Mr. Fuji and Hacksaw. Hacksaw managed to knock Yokozuna off his feet, but Yokozuna responded by throwing salt in his and seemingly the front row's faces. This kid really tried to warn Hacksaw. Yokozuna bonsai dropped Hacksaw, who had the American flag draped over him. The build for WrestleMania IX had well and truly begun. We also got a Yokozuna promo where, again, Mr. Fuji botched his name.
Last week, you fought out like everyone when facing my Yokozuna.
Next week, it's announced that Money Incorporated would be in action, with Vince teasing a Hulk Hogan return, plus a 6-man tag match between Tatanka and the Nasty Boys versus Shawn Michaels and the Beverly Brothers. This was such a dramatic Raw. That moment really is one of the most shocking from 1993. As a result, I think it has to reflect in the score, even though there really wasn't much else on this show other than that. I'm going to give this a 7. Awesome, guys. Thanks a lot for watching, and hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye for now.